Hello and welcome to the Midweek conversation of First Baptist Sweetwater, where we strive to be the first responders of God's love. My name is Jerry Hendricks. I brought my large Yeti because I'm trying to hydrate this week.
Right.
And this is my friend T. Hamilton. It's P3 week, and
I don't know why you're trying to hydrate.
Well, yes, you do.
I mean, it's not going to be hot outside or anything.
So one of the things that I wanted you to be aware is that in 6 months, it will be Christmas Day.
I heard that on a podcast yesterday.
It sounds like deja vu.
Yep, most definitely.
So I listened to the podcast as well. That was my reminder.
Right, but I mean, that doesn't excite me as much as the fact that Advent's that much sooner than Christmas.
Of
like,
course.
If it was me, that's what I've been talking about.
Okay, so now Teak has officially inserted Advent into our midweek conversation, so we can move on to subjects at hand.
Because if Christmas is 6 months away, Advent's like 5.
Ooh, good math.
It's almost cold weather.
Put
away that Yeti. Get out the hot chocolate.
I know. I feel cooler already. I don't know why I keep checking the weather app just to see if maybe the forecast has changed.
No. My all three of my apps are broken. They all say like the same thing, and it doesn't really change.
So you remember how we were getting ready for camp, like a couple of weeks before camp,
right?
And then all of a sudden we noticed that the temperature spike the day camp starts.
Yeah, like 20 degrees.
Yeah. Did you know that this week temperatures drop after P3?
Nice.
So
That's good.
This is our P3 week.
Well, that's because we're headed towards Advent.
Yeah.
Even creation understands.
I hope you have not confused our audience today.
Oh, I'm sure I have. Well, we're doing Christmas in July.
Okay.
So with the youth. So,
are you?
Yeah.
Is that an annual?
It is now. We started it last year. So this will make it annual.
Second annual.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is what happens when I miss a Sunday with Teak. That the catching up is a little bit.
Did you go to church Sunday since you weren't here?
I did go to church Sunday and had my bulletin to prove that.
Which is like your doctor's note?
Exactly. I keep my perfect attendance intact for attending church, and we did the lectionary. So.
Oh, good. So did we.
So I knew. Yeah. I got to hear a children's sermon. By Becky, our friend Becky Tucker, name drop, and then the message was the same that we used here. So it was really cool that, and we did communion. So
we read the Romans passage to open worship because it fit perfectly with baptism.
I didn't look at that one. I did look at next week's text, and I'm going to read, we're going to use the Romans passage as a part of the conversation. So. Those are going right along real well.
It's amazing how that happens.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to happen that way.
Yeah.
But
I listened to our good friend N.T. Wright today on a podcast, and he talked about how all those scriptures work together, and if you just use one, then you miss what the others bring to the table.
I didn't know N.T. Wright had a podcast.
I thought you were going to say you didn't know he was our good friend.
I'm sorry. I did miss that opportunity, didn't I? So I'm a little off my game, and then, you and I have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, it's Monday, so we're up. We're good.
Anyways, so Sunday was P3 Sunday.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. The kids got up and helped lead. I got to see some rhythm from our adults in the congregation when we did Jesus Loves Me.
So you got to see some rhythm, or poor rhythm, lack of rhythm?
No, I think because a lot of our adults remember, We Will Rock You, and that's kind of how it starts out, and they get into it pretty cool, and then the kids start singing, and they realize it's not that song. It's Jesus Loves Me, and so it went really good overall. We created a mosaic of P3 pictures from every year at the front of the worship center. And so it had 2009, and it had a picture from 2009, 2010, picture from 2010. And people were up there for a long time looking at that and just going through the faces that are up there.
Oh, cool.
So it was really good.
Yeah. And then I missed a baptism Sunday.
Yep, Stacy got to baptize KK, and we had really strong allergens in the worship center because some people got emotional after that baptism. I don't know. But other than that, not emotional. The allergies hit them. I know.
Did the allergies even hit you?
They hit me, and that's not normal. But they did.
I think it's more normal than you realize.
No, I don't think so. But so it was good. But cake, we tell all of the students, we have to hold them under 1 second for every year old they are. And
I didn't know we did that.
Okay, I do that. And most of them immediately go,
if that was a First Baptist Church Sweetwater experience, then some people need to come back for rebaptism because I didn't do that long enough.
I was about to say, it might just be me that says that. And they immediately start holding their breaths and counting, and you can see them going, seeing if they can make it. I'm like, I'm just joking. You're going to be down and up. It'll be great. So.
Well, I did see that on video, and that was exciting. Of course, again, a reminder that Teak and Stacy goes back with our family a good long ways now, as we think about having done camps together and then being a part of a previous church experience together, and then 8 years here. So
right, and even Howard Payne.
Even dating, but you do remember that. That goes way back.
Like early 2000s.
Yeah. So, we were proud that KK asked Stacy to baptize her.
Yeah. It's a great picture of pour into a kid's life and be a part of their life, and then be a part of those special moments like that, and they recognize that. So it was really cool.
And to lead up to that, so to help people understand, when you talk to that student about being baptized, you ask them who they would like to baptize. How do you do? What do you?
That's what, after we get to that point, I just say, "Who do you want to baptize you?"
Okay.
And I let them decide, and them say that. If they've got if they have a question, or they think that it's going to bother me that they don't say me, then I make it clear that my goal is to never have to baptize anyone again.
Right.
That it's a family member, it's someone who's close to them, because that's meaningful for them. It's who brought them closer to faith. If it is me, then I'm great with that too. Yeah. But it was a special moment.
But in this case, when they said, because we were at camp, when they said Stacy, you responded.
I said, you have to tell her.
Did you have an allergy moment at that time?
No, definitely not. Stacy did afterwards. But it is funny, because we talk about a lot of times how if a kid decides to follow Jesus, I always tell them, you need to tell Stacy, because that's a pretty easy person for them to tell. And they go tell. Well, Stacy's common response is, yay, hugs them, and she cries. And so now the ongoing thing is when I say, you need to tell Stacy, the kid goes, she's going to cry, isn't she? And so KK, when I said, you have to tell Stacy, she goes, she's going to cry, isn't she? I was like, yeah, but for a totally different reason this time. So it was really cool.
And I think, there may be students now that they think about maybe Stacy's influence. She may get to do this some more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So anyways, I'll let you tell her that.
She'll hear it.
She's one of our best listeners.
It was cool listening. We sent the video to our family members and everything, and one of them forwarded it to a friend of Stacy's that taught her in elementary school and everything. And she replied back and said, that's so great. At their church, family members are in the baptistry also.
Oh, wow.
And then someone baptized them. But her observation was it was great that Stacy was able to do that as someone who influenced her and everything. My thought from the practical side was, man, how hard would it be to gauge the water level in the baptistry? I mean, it's hard enough now with just two people, but you get a whole family in there?
Good point.
Man, the practical side of me hit it, and I was like, I feel for that staff.
Yeah. But that's true.
But I thought it was a cool encouragement.
Right. Well, and it's and I know that we have several more that have already talked to you about baptism.
Right.
I know the cool thing for us, yesterday we went to First Baptist Abilene, and they had middle school, they call it middle school testimonies from camp. Basically, at the end of the service, they had about 5 students, and each one just prepared a little part, a snippet from camp. But so it was weird for me, being the one who's directed that camp for so many years.
Oh yeah, to hear that.
To be able to hear that from some other church, not just Sweetwater. And then also at the end of the service, one of those students came forward to be baptized.
Cool.
And that was, I probably haven't processed that moment with any of my First Baptist Abilene friends yet, but a really neat experience besides just being there for worship.
Right.
So the passage this week is a pretty interesting one. What did you focus on? Did you do the lesson, right?
I did not. Yes, I did not focus on Beelzebub at all. I had focused on the part where he sends them. He says, "Do not be afraid." Talked about being grounded in your calling, and then talked about the value that God has on us. Talking about the sparrows.
Right.
So it was one of those moments where I was worried as I read all the passages. I was like, none of these fit. But our theme for P3 is called.
Right.
And the way that we don't have fear isn't just the fact that Jesus is going to be there, but we're grounded in the calling that Jesus has called us to do these things. So he sends the disciples out and says, hey, just so you know, the political authorities are going to hate you. They're going to physical violence, emotional violence. You're going to get called names. And really what's the worst that can happen? Death.
Yeah.
And so there's that. But the reason they went was because they understood that they were following the right person, that would come out in the end, and that they were grounded in that calling of who Jesus had called them to be.
Right. And I think so I've listened to Brian Zahn's message from yesterday, which is lectionary. Brandon Howard, pastor at First Abilene, from lectionary. Both of them zeroed in to a large degree on the fear portion of being a disciple. Brian Zahn can expand that in so many ways, but at least in our worship yesterday, the focus was on that. Brendan said, if I get make sure I get this right, that 365 times in the Bible, you read the words "fear not."
Yeah, I commented on in the process that the most repeated command in the Bible is "fear not, do not be afraid."
Right.
I don't know how many there were, but
interesting. An interesting, a good message for us when we decide to follow and be a disciple. So.
And this is one of the few times that it isn't followed with "I'll be with you." It's followed with everything that is in the dark will be, everything that's closed will be disclosed or brought out into the open. Yeah. That's the encouragement.
Right.
And then again, what's the worst that can happen? Death.
Yeah. So, well, these passages from 9, I think we'll make it till 12, chapter 12. I was 10 yesterday, correct?
Right.
Yeah. That, all these verses, Jesus talking to his disciples, preparing them for that life of a disciple, and so I find it real interesting coming off that and being able to step back and hear it from somebody else's voice. It's been really refreshing as we think about that and think forward toward that. So looking forward to Sunday and this week of P3. Unfortunately, it is going to be extremely hot, but
no big deal.
Yeah, I tell people it's camp hot. It's just it's just hot.
I just remember rule number 1: no whining.
Yeah.
We tell our kids that at camp, and we all know it's hot.
Yeah.
Don't complain about it. Don't whine about it, because it's not going to change anything, and you don't want to be Captain Obvious. Be more creative than that.
That's a good challenge for everyone. So, anyways, it's good to get caught up and get back into the rhythm here with you guys, and look forward to hearing more about our P3 week. And then also, hopefully, we'll be able to worship with you on Sunday if you can make it 10:30. I look forward to seeing you then.
See ya.